Growth has been reasonably weak for a lot of the last 2 years. The quarterly pattern has been a bit up and down this year. We had a weak first quarter because of bad weather. Q3, as you say, was quite strong. That was partly a recovery from earlier the year, partly flattered by good weather, we think. So yes, the signs are we'll have somewhat weaker growth in the fourth quarter. That said, and even though GDP growth has been weaker than certainly pre-crisis rates, it's been strong enough to allow the unemployment rate to fall further, reaching 40-year lows. And that in turn has been strong enough to push up wage growth, which is now materially higher and indeed higher than at any time since the crisis. So weak output growth figures, but in terms of inflationary pressure, we are seeing some signs of that domestically now.
Right, and just on the GDP itself, you have a 1.5% forecast for Q4. Do you think there's any downside risk based on the numbers we got last week?
Well, it's still early days as far as the data are concerned. Our current best guess is 0.3. We don't see any reason to depart from that, but there's still some uncertainty about that.
Now, in general, when you look back, you said data has been somewhat disappointing for the big part of the year. We did see a rebound, obviously, in the third quarter. Some of that is on back of weather effects. What do you point that down to? How much of it do you think is just uncertainty over Brexit versus other exogenous factors, be it trade war or a slowdown in Europe?
Some of those, I mean, all of those things might have played some part. And of course, the economy has been operating with a pretty sluggish trend in underlying productivity growth, which in the long run will be the main determinant of economic growth. I think the additional thing we've seen this year is an intensification of the drag on business investment from uncertainty about Brexit. Investment has been relatively weak since the referendum, certainly compared with the figures in comparable economies, and business investment is quite well correlated across countries normally. But that effect, I think, has intensified through the course of 2018.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.